everyone, I hope that you're doing well today. This is another update video from me about the Bodmin Jail article. I am so happy to announce, what time is it at the moment? It is 1:15 in the morning, but I'm so happy to announce that the history is pretty much done. And I know that I've said similar things in previous update videos, so I'm like, oh, I hope it'll be done by this day, or by this day, kind of thing. But the history is, like I said, pretty much done. I am at the end of the timeline, so the way I write the articles are once the notes are done, I go through all of the pages of notes and put a chronological order of like what dates are on what pages. So I'm kind of jumping about between pages because obviously as I've written the notes, I've jumped between sources. So that timeline is done. All the information, which has had a year attached, is written up. There is one exception to that, though, and that's because I kept on finding information saying that it was grade 2 listed, and I didn't find any dates to that. And usually I would come across a source which is called Historic England, and that would confirm the grade 2 listing information, and that would tell me when it was first listed. And it would also tell me like other little bits of history as well, with what I assume would be accurate years. Because the Historic England website is very much so one I trust, because that is the website responsible for assigning the kind of the grades to buildings. And for anyone who isn't aware of buildings being graded as grade 1 or grade 2, grade 1 means that it is a building of extreme kind of importance. Usually it's like really old, it's got architectural significance, it's at huge risk of like falling down if it's not looked after. And grade 2 is similar but not quite as severe, but it's still important. And so if you own a grade 1 or grade 2 listed building, due to its importance, you can't really change the structure. You've got to get, like, I'm pretty sure, like proper like government approval if you want to do as much as like replacing a window in the building, because it's, like I say, deemed architecturally significant. They want as much of the original fabric of the building there as possible. So when I found that Bodmin Jail was grade 2 listed, I was not surprised, but I was like, I do want to find the source. So having gone through all the timeline, I have searched for Historic England, which I will add to the list of sources that I've got. And in that I will, write when it was originally listed on that website. But with that, I've also found other references to years, such as when the building was enlarged and when the building was kind of replaced as well, with a couple of names additional to that, which I don't know if one of them... I don't know whether or not I've actually written about these names, but either way, there's bits of information on 6 pages, which I need to go through and kind of add in. So as you can see, these are the pages which are remaining. So these are the 6 pages of history. You can see in the corner down here where I've kind of added the information about what I've found on Historic England. I've also found additional information about the Governor's House and the chaplain, or chaplaincy, I think it's called. They're external buildings. They lie outside of the walls of Bodmin Jail, but I do mention them in the article, so I am going to write a little bit of information about those. But if there are rumours of hauntings in them, which they're all buildings, they may very well be, they will also get their own article because they are outside of the Bodmin Jail walls. But that will be probably long in the future. But yeah, as you can see, lots of ticks on pages. But there are certain bits of information. So, for instance, this one, 35 hanged for various degrees of murder, Bodmin gallows, 69 people, men and women hanged at Bodmin. So it's vague information like that, where it's not really part of anything. So built in Bodmin as area could provide clean air and pure water. So you can see it's vague information where it doesn't have a year attached to it. Stuff like the location. I don't know how to pronounce the road's name. Berrycombe, maybe? Berrycombe Road, Bodmin, Cornwall. So stuff like that will just go in like the introductory paragraph to kind of say where it's located. There is this one, which is quite a chunky point, and it does actually have a year attached, so I might have just missed that when originally writing up the list of the years. But you can see there kind of what the prison was made up of. But that's information that I have written already, but I just need to check that that's correct. So that is all that needs to be added, really, with the history. It's just those vague points, because you can see a lot of the sentences, they already have ticks next to them. So, does that mean that the Bodmin Jail article will be published tomorrow? When I say tomorrow, I mean Monday, the 20th of April. Yes, it will. Guaranteed. I know I've said that before, but this is genuinely yes. If it's not public, I will be so disappointed in myself. Like, so disappointed. Because it's just... I need to do the introductory paragraph, read through, check spelling, check everything makes sense as I'm reading it and that it flows well, and then while I'm doing that, add these bits of information into it as well. And then it's write up the hauntings. The hauntings are 3 pages. It's not very in-depth from what I've found so far, either, from what I can remember of those pages. It's just kind of your kind of generic, oh, here's this one, but there isn't really any eyewitness accounts or anything like that. At least that's from memory. I could be wrong with that, at least from what I found online anyway. So with the 3 pages, that's going to take 2 hours maybe to write up. It's typically half an hour a page, so you're looking at hour and a half, 2 hours. And then from that, it's the summary of hauntings, it's my thoughts. Don't really have many thoughts about Bodmin Jail, at least not from just the history. I think the only thing I'd think at the moment is just to be aware it is very touristy. It is a huge attraction in Cornwall, where they do host a lot of different tours. They do host paranormal related events. They have a paranormal manager as well. So they're very, very much so into the paranormal. It's like it'll probably echo similar things that I said about Jamaica Inn, where Jamaica Inn has its own paranormal investigation team. Granted, I've not found information on that about Bodmin Jail, just that they have a paranormal manager. But with Jamaica Inn, I was like, they have a paranormal investigation team, which on the surface sounds amazing. But on the flip side of that, it's also not great, because if they're limiting what teams can and can't investigate there, it means that they're kind of controlling all information that is out there about the hauntings, which... pros and cons. Pros, you'd like to think that the information is legitimate because it's from the source, like it is from the location. But cons, because again, it's all just from the source. So if they did want to try and enhance or embellish things, you wouldn't really be any the wiser. So it's, double-edged sword kind of thing. But Bodmin Jail, I don't think is giving me that impression. It strikes me as very touristy, and to be aware of that, but there's nothing at the moment which is telling me that it shouldn't be trusted, which I think is good. And I typically have at least I think I have a decent sense around this. But that's just from, at the moment, from what I've written about the history. I've not written about the hauntings yet. And one thing as well to be wary of is the jail has passed hands a few times. So, obviously it was a jail. I'm not talking about when it closed as a jail. I'm talking about from the 60s, I believe. The location had a number of different purposes. Around the early 2000s, it became an attraction. And then the attraction was bought and properly revamped and became a hotel, which then reopened in the 2020s. So I'd be wary of those changes in hands, because the paranormal can be very profitable. I don't know if they've always kind of pushed the paranormal thing, or if that's just with this new investment. I'm assuming they've always pushed it to some degree, because obviously it was investigated by Most Haunted in the early 2000s, so I would deem that there's always been talk of it being haunted. I just don't know whether or not it would have been done for profitable gain. And I know that there is a section in Bodmin Jail at the moment which discusses the history of the paranormal, which I absolutely want to see that exhibit. I really want to see that, and because it apparently doesn't just discuss Bodmin Jail, it discusses other places as well. And I am unaware at the moment of any attraction that kind of has that feature with it. I know there are places where they've wanted to take their own paranormal history very seriously, but I've not seen anyone kind of go, oh, and this is the wider picture as well. So I appreciate that, if that still exists like that. So, yeah. But these, like I said, these are just vague thoughts at the moment. I've not written about the hauntings yet. I do not have the memory of what hauntings are there, but I do have them written down on the 3 pages. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to actually finishing this article, to publishing this article. I also think Friday's article will not be a person involved in the paranormal. I think it will be an artifact. I think I'm finally going to be writing about the vase. I think that's probably going to be a good one, because otherwise, if I did write about a person, I'd just be writing about a person next week as well, because next week's the start of the month. Because obviously I've got a routine where I aim for the first week of the month, the Friday, to be about a person, the second week to be an experience, the third week to be an artifact, fourth week to be spirit type or folklore, something related to that. So, yeah, I don't want it to be like back-to-back weeks of people, so I think that it'll end up being the vase, because the last time I did a Friday, it was an experience. So, yeah, I hope that all makes sense with what I've explained. But I'm very excited to hopefully be done with this article. It's a fantastic place, though. Looks really cool, too. So, looking forward to you all reading it. And so hopefully it's a good read and an interesting read. It's definitely... I don't know if I'm right in thinking this, but I view Bodmin Jail as arguably one of the most prominent attractions in Cornwall. I could be wrong with that, but especially with the paranormal, because whenever I think paranormal in Cornwall, I always think Bodmin Jail and Jamaica Inn. I don't think of any others. Granted, there are probably... Well, there would definitely be others that exist, but yeah, I feel like out of Jamaica Inn and Bodmin Jail, I feel like Bodmin Jail is the biggest in terms of most well-known and most... Well, because it's an attraction. So yeah, looking forward to having it documented in the database. But I am now waffling, it is late, so I am going to end this video now. So thank you very much everyone for watching. I hope that you all have an amazing rest of your day, and yeah, I hope that you all look forward to the article and read the article. And if you're interested in these articles that I'm writing, please do head to thetrueparanormal.blogspot.com. It is the world's largest database of paranormal research. I will do a video explaining that, because I feel like I should do a video kind of explaining what I do, why I do it, and why I refer to it as the world's largest database of paranormal research, because that is not only a mouthful to say, but it is quite the claim. It is a huge claim to make. So I'll probably do that tomorrow or the day after. Just explaining all of that. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. And yeah, goodbye everybody. Goodbye.